Hey, how's it going, everyone? Every week I get probably between 5 to 15 pounds of just waste from harvesting the microgreens and harvesting produce out there. And typically I throw it on the compost pile and it sits there for a year to break down because I never have really enough to get a hot pile started. So the other day I broke down and I went online and I ordered 2,000 composting worms from Uncle Jim's Worm Farm. And they're going to be here today at some point. So yesterday I went down to Home Depot and spent way too much time there waiting around for them. So here at Home Depot, and I need those containers way the heck up there on that top shelf. So I'm waiting. But I got a bunch of totes, and I went ahead and went with really big totes, 55 gallon to be exact. And I'm going to go ahead and today and build a worm bin. So if you want to come along on that journey with me, stick around. So I got myself 3 big tubs. I got a clear one and 2 black ones. I was initially thinking of making a stacking type system, but I don't know that I'm going to do that. For now, the plan, I'm just going to drill some drain holes in this one and put it in this one and add a spigot to the clear one. That way I can see what liquid level, if any, we have. And I guess the first thing we need to do is maybe get some holes in this one over here. So we're going to drill a bunch of drain holes in this. And I think I'm going to use a 1/4 inch bit. Worms can pass through 1/4 inch hole. And it's typically the size you drill if you're building stacking bins and you want them to migrate. So, I'm going to go ahead and drill that. I don't know. Maybe we'll do some stacking bins, maybe not. But we're going to start at least with these 1/4 inch holes. And you want to get them, there's a kind of a rib here on the bottom. And you want to get them placed so that they're in this low spot. So this is going to be the lowest point of this tub. So let's just go ahead and do it. We got the drill here with a 1/4 inch bit. And we're just going to randomly put some holes in. I mean, I could get all OCD and measure these out, but I think if we eyeball it, we'll be fine. And for now, that's all I'm going to put. If I decide to make this a stacking system, then I'll put more holes in. But for now, this should be sufficient. So we got 15 holes. Yeah, I think we're good. So I think the next thing we need to do is work on this over here and see about putting a drain in it. All right, so we got ourselves a little spigot here. It's basically just a rain barrel spigot. Says we need a 7/8 inch hole. Went ahead and got a stainless steel one so we don't have to worry about it corroding. And We want to get it up off the bottom so that the nut fits. So probably about right here. And we're just going to drill a hole. Clean up the edge a little bit. Put that in there. Put a gasket on each side. And I'm just going to tighten it. That'll do it. So now the plan, we're going to put this in there, but we don't want it to sit all the way at the bottom. So I'm going to go grab a few bricks, and we're going to put a couple bricks in there. Well, we got some just regular everyday bricks, and we're just going to space them in the bottom of this thing. And then we're going to drop this tote in on top of everything. Make sure the bricks aren't blocking any of the holes. And we're good to go. So that's going to leave this thing raised up so that it'll collect the liquid in the bottom. We got a little valve to get the liquid out. I grow a lot of microgreens and I use coconut coir a lot, so I've got some coconut coir. I've got a brick already hydrated, so we're just going to add that material in here and wait for the worms to arrive. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to add some bedding for the worms. You can use things like shredded newspaper. You could use compost. You could use dirt out of your garden. I happen to grow microgreens, so I use coconut coir all the time to do that. So I happen to have plenty of coconut coir, and we have some here that's already hydrated that we're going to just go ahead and dump in. So this is an entire brick. Yeah, it's heavy. And we'll just spread it around. And that'll give an initial bit of bedding for the worms. This might be a little dry. I might have to add a little bit more water to it. So probably add a little bit of water to this, and then we're just going to wait for the worms to show up. And then we'll go ahead and add them in here, and we'll add some food for them. And then I think in a couple days I actually have some shelving that this is going to sit on, and it's going to have casters. So I can roll it around, and it's going to live probably in my climate controlled grow room, and then when I need to work in there and do stuff, I can roll it out. So come back as soon as we get those worms. So the the worms are going to need plenty of oxygen. So we need to put some holes in the lid. And kind of nice. It's the lid's got these little squares here, which are kind of these little raised spots in between each of these squares, and they're just about a 1/4 inch, so we can easily just kind of drill them out. And as you can see, that gives us some really nice holes, and they really satisfy my OCD because they're in the center of something and I'm not randomly putting them all over the place. So that's going to be nice. So we'll get this done and we'll have the lid all done and nice and aerated. So we got one more thing we're going to do while we're waiting for these worms. I got a piece of 40-inch burlap here. I don't know, it's maybe a little over 2 feet long, 40 inches wide. And we got it soaking wet. And we're going to stick it in here on top of everything. And that's going to give a nice moist layer and help keep moisture in there, because the worms really need some moisture. And so we'll have that. And we got our lid done. We got all the little holes in it. That should be enough to get enough air inside. And we'll put that lid on top. And hopefully before long we'll be taking our farm scraps every week and feeding them to the worms, and we'll be getting some worm compostings here. That's the plan anyways. So we'll come back when we've got some worms. Well, the worms showed up, so we're going to let them go. They're still looking pretty active. Looking all right. Probably going to need a little moisture here. But we got some scraps. So we're going to go ahead and add those, and they're pretty wet. So we're just going to cover them with the food here. And we're going to cover them up with the burlap. Burlap's still pretty damp. And we'll throw the cover on. And we'll check on them again tomorrow. See how they're doing.